Make it happen. All right, hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of 22 Minutes with Jayson. And let me hit the right button here. And we are here to hopefully entertain you but more importantly, educate you about real estate and the real estate process. This is 22 Minutes, all in an effort to bring you valuable content that you can use when you're looking to buy, sell, or refinance a property out there or around here in Phoenix, Arizona. If you're watching us there on Facebook, please like and share our Facebook page. Would appreciate that. And I need your help. We need your help in sharing the page with your friends and family to get the word out there that, hey, we've got a lender and we've got a realtor, right, in the same room. And so this is a great opportunity for you to talk to two people on both sides of the coin in the real estate world at the same time. So please share with your friends and family if they're looking to buy, sell, or refinance property here in the next 6 months. Everyone out there on Periscope, hey, thanks for watching the show and being supporters out there of the show. Appreciate all the hearts and the love out there. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, give us that thumbs up and share with your sphere of influence and your social media platform. Appreciate that as well. All right, so little wet, rainy day here in Phoenix. This isn't the Valley of the Sun, which is what this is here. Not today. Valley of the Sun, no, not happening today.
I bet above those clouds it's shiny.
Yeah. Although I did see some sun peeking out. That's the one nice thing about Arizona. Arizona, if you have never been here to Phoenix, Arizona, it rains on occasion, but generally it doesn't rain the entire day. We see the sun at least once during the day, which is kind of nice. It's kind of like southern Florida, I think, right? What?
I don't know. I guess.
Okay. I guess you've never been.
I've never heard
it
of that.
rains and then it'll clear up, and that's kind of what it does here. All right. Say, hey, let's get to today's tweet quote of the day. All right. Hey, this one is a little themed here for the all you Star Wars fans out there. Star Wars was released. The timing on this may be a few days late. I don't know, but this one is done by Yoda, and Stefan will be happy to do his Yoda impression on this one.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah, do or do not. There is no try. And I thought this was kind of appropriate, number one, because of Star Wars, but also because if you don't try to get a home loan or try to purchase a home, then, shame on you.
I think the moral of that, and I'm going to go just a little bit deeper since it is a deep tweet, but there is no try, meaning that you either grab it or you don't. Like the mantra there is, hey, grab this stick, or try to grab this stick. And either you grab it, so you do grab that stick, or you miss it and you don't. So there is no trying. It's either you succeed or you don't succeed. And that was the whole thing. So let's get you on the success train. But all aboard the success train.
Right.
The do train.
Yeah.
But so that's a little bit deeper of there is no such thing as try. You either succeed or you don't succeed. So when people say, I want to try to get a house, no, you're going to get a house.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we're here for, right? But the first step in that process is you have to reach out to us. You have to call us. We're here to help. We're on your team. I promise you that. We're not against you. We will help you get into a house if that's what you want to do. Okay, we got a lot to cover here, so we need to probably kind of maybe jump into this, I guess,
yes,
for lack of a better way of putting it. So let's do this here. All right, so this is the Throwback Thursday episode of 22 Minutes, and this is where we kind of throw back answers to your questions or commonly asked questions. And just as a reminder, if you do have a question for the show, use that hashtag 22minutesAZ if you're on Twitter, or you can message us directly there on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and we'll be sure to address your questions. But this one is kind of a part two, if you will, of the VA one that we did last week.
Yeah.
A lot of information out there, and we just didn't feel that we could cram it in 22 minutes. We tried, but it could have been a little kind of jumbled a little bit. So we want to
Right.
kind of dive into a little bit more.
Yeah, because I think what happened is, we have these 22 minutes. We have 5 minutes left. Oh, we have to talk about this. We have to talk about this. We have to talk about this.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we do a little summary of some of the basic stuff in case they missed the first one, and then we get deep in the last half of the stuff or whatever you got. But
Yeah. So okay. So little summary: VA loans, 100% financing, no mortgage insurance on that for veterans with disabilities or without disabilities, honorably discharged, and up to a loan amount as of January 1st of 424,100. Right now, currently today, 417,000.
yeah,
Um, so the other thing too, credit scores. We talked a little bit about credit scores last week. Credit scores is a little bit of a moving target. Yeah, the algorithm for credit scores is kind of one of those things that I personally I don't like credit scores. I think credit scores are overrated. But that's the rules, and this is what we have to play by. So there really isn't a minimum credit score necessarily for VA, although a lot of lenders put their own overlays into a VA loan, and you're not going to get an automated approval, much below a 600 credit score and getting 100% financing on a VA loan. If you
yeah.
put more money down, for example, if you put 5% down, when you're not required to put 5% down, that's perceived as going above and beyond. Therefore, they may be able to dig a little deeper when it comes to your credit score.
I've
So,
seen. So what you're saying is 600 probably gets you 0% down. If
mhm.
you don't know what your credit score is, or if you know what your credit score is, and you need a little bump up, we have a couple tricks here to help with the credit. If we have time, maybe we'll talk about that. Getting 20, 30 points in a couple months,
Yeah.
get you where you need to be. Um, the interest rates have been going up lately, so I think time is of the essence.
Yeah, yeah, right. That is a big deal right now. Interest rates are going up, so you need to jump on and get this process going before they get out of control. Okay, and the other thing we talked about a little bit last week too was closing costs. I want to talk about and dive into that a little bit more because these companies out there who offer zero closing cost loans, I'm here to give you a little bit of a I don't know, like a wake up call. There are always closing costs associated with a loan. There is no such thing as a free loan. They're
Well, because
just
you hear the no money down, no closing costs. I
right.
qualify for the no. That's what we call it over here. But you're saying that it's a no, meaning that no money down minus the earnest and the appraisal cost, and no no
Right.
closing costs minus whatever we tell you are closing costs.
Right.
Um, so yeah, let's get into that because I have to overcome this hurdles a lot.
Yeah. So no closing cost loan. All that means, and builders kind of are notorious for doing this as well. All that means is that you're getting charged a higher interest rate than what you could get if you paid your own closing costs. That's all that means. So the closing costs are still there. We still have to pay the title company. We still have to pay Maricopa County Recorder's Office. We still have to pay for the appraisal. We still have to do all these sort of things to assess the risk in lending you money, or as we like to say it on the lender side, in investing in you, the consumer, in that you will pay us back or pay the bank back. We need those assessments. We need to be able to be reassured that we're investing in the right investment, that being you. And so there are costs associated with that. So those costs just don't disappear.
I want to talk a little bit about the 3-2-1 rule. So,
Yeah,
3% is what it usually costs a loan. If you're buying a house for 200, it's about $6,000 for funding and closing and title. So three, then two is the VA loan, and the conventional loan is typically about the cost of the loan. So if you're doing a $200,000 loan, it's about $4,000, give or take. I always ask the seller to contribute 3% for the FHA buyer and 2% for the conventional and the VA, because then I know that I got most of the costs, if not all of the costs covered. And then so it's 3-2-1. The one is cash buyers is about 1% for title fees and things like that to get the loan. So it's something I teach the agents in my team, that it's a 3-2-1. If you're conventional or VA, then I always ask for 2% of for your closing costs. I think we talked a little bit about asking for a little bit extra on one of the shows,
mhm,
about up to 6% or 4%. But the people, the industry here or the market here that help with the VAs, they understand that they're happy to help the veterans get into a home. So 2% typically gets accepted, and it covers most of your costs, if not all of them.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. So the thing is too, when you're making these lower loan amounts, if you're doing like $100,000 loan, that percentage might be a little bit higher.
Right.
So this is based on average loan amounts, but that's a very good rule to go by.
Yeah, because
Now,
there's fixed costs like $1,400, like is something, right? That's like the lending cost is 1,400,
yeah,
I believe.
yeah, exactly. Underwriter processing fees, that sort of thing, generally run around $1,400. Um, so you need to account for that, and those are fixed costs, like you said. They're not based on a percentage of the loan. So now, but there are things that you can do to overcome some of these things, right? So, and this is where I want to talk to you about and have you kind of explain to everybody about contracts. So,
Yeah.
contracts on VA, like there's this tussle back and forth, right? When you're asking, sometimes on a VA loan, I've heard, and you have to let me know from your experience, but some people don't want to have VA loans because, or have a VA buyer necessarily, because the appraisal may be a little more tight, if you will. So that can then impede the negotiating of the actual contract and the sales price.
So things that get called out with the VA appraiser are like water stains. The appraiser comes in. So if you have water stains underneath the sink or water stains on the ceiling, the appraiser is going to want you to fix those items prior to funding, and then they have to come back again. The other thing, so let's talk about the timeline for the VA appraiser. They have what, up to 14 business days or 14 days to get to the property,
Yes, yes,
and
absolutely.
they typically take that amount. That's why I always push for a VA loan about 40 days. So then you're already under the gun when conventional can close in 30. But I always put a 40-day mark on there because we have our 10-day inspection period. If we get it done quickly, before the 10 days, they got 5 days to respond. So that's 15 days. And if they don't fix everything, we got 3 days response. So that's 18 days. If we take all 18 days and then order the appraisal, that's 14 more days. It's day 32 before we find out what the value of the home is. Once we find the value of the home, and if nothing is called out because of the appraisal, like the water stains or termites, usually find the termites in the home inspection earlier. But if something else is called out, then there's a little bit more delay. So a 40-day close of escrow or 45-day close of escrow is probably industry standard. If we can, I can get my home inspector in there on day 2 or day 3. That moves that clock 8 days, right? Because instead of waiting 10 days to find out if we're going to move forward, we got the answer in 7 days. And then if they answer us back without the full 5 days and maybe 2 or 3 days, and we shave that time off and we can get a 30-day close. But if we don't prepare for a 45-day close, then we're just setting ourselves up for failure. So to answer the appraisal question, I know it's water stains. Water stains is the biggest one. And then whenever you do a 0% down, whether it be FHA or VA, the less you put down, the more tight the appraiser is, because he's hired by the bank to find out if the home is worth that amount to get the loan on. Because if he gets in trouble and he says it's worth 250,000 when it's only worth 240,000, the bank just lent on 250,000 that on a house that's only worth 240, and that's a big no-no in the lending industry.
That's right. That's right. And I'll play the little sound effect there.
agree
I
with
agree
you.
with you. So this is super important when negotiating this, right? So know this as a buyer. If you're a buyer using your VA to go in and negotiate, you can't necessarily on a VA loan, depending on the market and depending on the house, and this is where Stefan and his team and his expertise comes into play to assess the situation overall. But you can't always ask for the world in today's market, right?
Right.
Am I on track with that?
Yeah, and I always try to flip it back to the buyer. Like, if you got an offer like this, what would you accept as far as an offer? Um, if you had your house at $250,000 and a VA buyer came in at 245, asking for 2% closing costs and the home warranty and the HOA, what would you come back at? Because that's probably what they're going to come back at. So I just got to prepare them. Like, we're not going to get everything you want, but I'm going to try really hard to get as little money down on your part. At the end of the day, $5,000 on a purchase price is about $10, maybe $20. I'm sorry, $25 a month extra. So let's just call it $25 a month extra.
Mm-hmm.
If you're at 255 and to cover all your loan costs versus a 250 purchase price that doesn't cover your loan costs, for an extra $25 a month, you got all your house and stuff covered. Is that worth it?
Right. The other thing too that I want to kind of point out here, we've been talking. We mentioned here interest rates have gone up. Right. We mentioned the other day that I feel anyway there's going to be a byproduct of the interest rates going up. We may see for a short period of time, we may see kind of values maybe flatten a little bit. Because there aren't as many buyers out there, they maybe getting priced out of the market, that sort of thing. Now, if that happens, then a strategy would be on a VA loan, since you don't want to ask for the world necessarily, is that there are down payment assistance programs, and they're called DPAs, but on VAs, sometimes you get a little extra boost. You get a little extra credit because you are a veteran. And that doesn't have to be used necessarily for down payment. It can be used for closing costs as well. So strategy might be that you ask or give full asking price to the seller, right? And then take the down payment assistance, but not use it for down payment, but use it for closing costs, covering closing costs, and not asking the seller to cover your closing costs. So that might be an effective strategy, but again, you'll have to talk to Stefan and his team to see if that would be a way to go. The other thing I want to say about down payment assistance loans is that typically, again, those interest rates are higher than what you're going to get if you put your own money down.
Right.
Or you paid your own closing costs. Okay, so you're not going to get what you hear or see advertised out there in the open market as far as the best interest rate. So you got to, like Stefan was mentioning there, you got to have that trade-off there a little bit. And is it worth it to you?
Well, and that's the same as the lender covering those costs for you too. Buying the interest.
Yep.
There's a couple things you need to consider. At the end of the day, it's what are you comfortable paying for the next 10 to 20 years? Because the likelihood you're not going to stay in the house for the full 30. So maybe it's what are you willing to pay for the next 5 years maybe, right, for the house. But
here's a good tip too, Stefan. I'm sorry to interrupt. I want to get this in there. You mentioned the lender paying closing costs. Here is a good tip, and I did this on a podcast that I do. But when you lock in your interest rate as a consumer, ask the lender to send you the lock confirmation. And this is critical, okay, if you want to know that you're getting full value for what you're actually negotiated for in an interest rate. So as a veteran, you lock in an interest rate. The lender's paying your closing costs. Well, you want to make sure that you're getting credit for all that money that they're crediting toward your closing costs. Now, somebody may say, well, wait a minute, they're paying all my closing costs. What do I care, right? Well, if they're paying more, let's say your closing costs, just as a hypothetical, add up to $3,000. Just as a hypothetical. Through the interest rate, maybe there's $3,500 credit there. Where's that extra $500 going? If you're only using $3,000 of that, that extra $500 should be going toward a principal reduction. Remember, as a consumer, that is your money. That is money that you have negotiated through the interest rate. Some lenders, dirty little secret here about lenders, some lenders take that extra money because it's not being used, quote unquote, for closing costs, and they keep that as a profit center for their branch or for their company.
Yeah. That
is a big no-no with the CFPB. So ask for the lock confirmation. And
that's a very good thing. And I haven't asked for it. I know that whenever we do that stuff, in fact, even with the new builds, because I just had a long conversation with a builder because of the next 6 months, what's going to happen with the interest rates if you're buying a house new build.
Yeah.
And they said, don't worry, your closing costs are covered. How much of that? $2,500. Well, that's not all your full closing costs. I mean, you got to negotiate that.
Right.
I wanted to shout out to Rick Mojica. I'm not exactly
sure.
Mojica.
Rick Mojica. He's my Marine Corps buddy.
Yeah, he said we answered a couple of his questions for him already, so that's good.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. Appreciate that, buddy. Love you, man. So that's a real good thing to ask for, is the lock confirmation. And if the lender is not willing to give you that lock confirmation as proof of what you're getting credit for, then I would question whether or not you should be doing business with that lender, quite honestly.
Right.
That this is some lenders like to hide behind that and keep that money. They call it point banking even. It's a big problem for a lot of lenders. The side effect of that is that Arizona Department of Financial Institutions, AFDI, does not have the manpower to police all the loan officers that are out there to see whether or not they're doing it. You know, they're kind of allowing loan officers to kind of self-police themselves. I never hide behind my interest rates. I always show my consumers. I'll show them the rate sheet. I really don't care because I don't get paid that way. That's not how I get paid.
Right.
But some lenders like to keep that close to their heart. So Be mindful of that.
The issue is lenders are doing that, and like 90% of the realtors out here are doing like 4 deals a year, so they don't know to cover or to look at that stuff.
Yeah.
So whenever I meet a buyer, I always say, there's 50 lenders I know out in this. I can name about 50.
Yeah.
Out of those 50, there's about 5 that I trust.
Yeah.
Because the lenders are liars, buyers are liars, sellers are liars. No one ever says realtors are liars, or do they?
What's that song there, Stefan? You got to sing that song. I know you're lying, your mouth is moving, or something like that.
Oh yeah, I don't. You can sing that one. I don't know.
That's for the club, man. That's a club scene.
Okay, yeah.
Rock and roll song.
That's that all about the bass lady.
Yeah, all about the bass. Yeah.
All about the military base.
Yeah, your lips are moving. I know you're lying. All right, so that's my. I can't sing. Speaking of which, that movie Sing is coming out.
Right.
My wife wants to go see that. Oh boy, this is Thursday. So hopefully we covered a little bit more. I know we're running a little bit short on time. It always feels like on this subject anyway that we start to lose track of time here a little bit. Look, if you got questions, please write the comments in the Facebook post. Head over to our Facebook page. Be sure and share that with your friends and family. Like it, and support us. We're trying to bring you valuable content that you can use when looking to buy, sell, or refinance a property. So hopefully we're doing that. We feel like we are, but it's always nice to hear from the audience that we are. So
I know we're doing good stuff. I know because these conversations are coming up weekly, or something pops up. I say, oh, we talked about that on the show and stuff. I can tell you this: that if you guys watch the shows or you go back a little bit. Whether you're looking to buy or not, if you're a realtor or something and you're just getting started, this stuff will help you have intelligent conversations with buyers and sellers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I hope so. So if you are a realtor out there, don't be bashful. You're in the public eye. Don't be bashful. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Next year, we're gonna start having guests on too. So if you'd like to be a guest on the show, if you're somebody out there in the real estate world and you think you have something to contribute to the show, reach out to us. Don't be bashful. We'd love to hear from you and see what we can do to kind of organize that with you. So if you're a painter or I don't know, inspector, we probably need to have a home inspector on here. There's a lot of good questions on there. So anything that you do related to real estate, or if you work with a lender or work with a realtor, reach out to us. We'd love to.
Home warranty company, homeowners insurance rep.
We need to talk about home warranties, man. That's a good point, because there was just a big article. I just saw a big thing on home warranties, and whether or not you should buy them or not. So we probably need to do that.
Yeah,
that'd be a good one.
Well, put them on the spot and grill them.
I know.
That's not a good way to get them to call us, Jayson. Hey, so if you do home warranties, hey, we need to find out if we need to pay for that, man. So yeah, let's see if they sign up.
We're gonna Bill O'Reilly them.
Right. Is it true? Yeah.
Yeah. We'll. You're a pinhead. All right. Let's wrap everything up. Hey, thanks everyone for joining us today. Appreciate the support out there. We do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Arizona time. So join us at that time if you're available. If you're not, watch the replay on YouTube. Head over to my YouTube page and you can check out all the replays from there. Give us that thumbs up and share with your friends and family. So tomorrow is Feature Friday, Reflection Friday. So Stefan's going to get one of his listings together for me, and we'll feature that property, and then we'll reflect on the week that was. Right. So until tomorrow, everyone, have a good day, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
All right. I don't know what to do when you say that. All right.
I know.